Today we have a very special guest. Very pleased to have joining us here in the studio, KOREA24's forward Tae-jong. He recently won a Lifetime Achievement Award for, I don't know if he'd like to hear this, but for being the oldest player in the Korean Basketball League's history. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's an honor to have you, and I think we have a lot to talk about. And I know it's a busy time because the season's on the way, and you made your way all the way out here in the studio. I think a lot of our listeners already know who you are, especially basketball fans. You've had again, I mean, there's this distinction of being an elder statesman in the league, but you've had a very long and storied career, right? You played in France, you played all over Europe. I believe you played in Israel, even. You've been in Korea for a while. How long have you been in Korea, and what was sort of the background of you deciding to play in the KBL?
Well, this is my 7th season, I think, in Korea. I learned about the KBL maybe halfway through my career in Europe, and I thought it would be great to be able to come back to Korea and experience the culture here, but doing it, I guess, for free as a basketball player.
Right.
So that was the main reason. My mom thought it would be a great idea, and I did too. So I got to connect to my Korean side of the family and experience the Korean culture here in person. So that was the main reason.
And I think most people know your mother is Korean, and I know you get asked these questions thousands and thousands and thousands of times about growing up in a biracial family, and you talk about reconnecting with your Korean roots. Would you say overall the 7 years have been good? I mean, we can touch on issues of race and all that, but would you say that you've enjoyed your 7 years here?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Korea is definitely, you feel safe in Korea, and actually, as far as discrimination and things like that, I'm from North Carolina. Well, I grew up in North Carolina, so it's not something that's new to me. So
Sure.
it's good just to come here and experience everything in person and be a part of the Korean community. So that was probably the biggest plus of doing everything.
And I know you and your brother, you made your mark in the league, also with the national team. Would you say that as far as KBL, among your achievements, being part of the national team, what would you say are some of the things that you're most proud of?
Probably, the most proudest I am of, or the most pride I get out of playing in Korea was when I played on the national team, and we won the Asian gold medal.
All right.
I guess
Beating the Yao Ming team, right?
No, we didn't beat Yao. We beat Hadidi, the Iranian team.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but after we won, I guess a lot of not even Korean basketball fans, but average Korean people were coming up to me saying, thank you for winning the gold medal for the country and things like that. So that was pretty special.
Yeah, and that's such a big deal here, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess getting a gold, kind of beating international competition. I mean, it's a tough international environment, right? I mean, as far as even in Asia, it's competitive. China really has a lot of good young players. A lot of teams also, I think the Philippines, they bring in
tough.
they bring in NBA guys like Andre Blatch. And would you say though that as far as being in Korea, kind of trying to build the sport here, the sport has developed in your 7 years?
I think so. Talent-wise, I think so.
Local talent?
Yeah, local talent for sure. I think it's gotten a lot better. I think it's because it seems like each generation is getting a little bit taller, so it seems like there's a lot more taller Korean basketball players, and that definitely helps. And then once they get to the KBL and develop their skills, I think it helps to elevate the level of basketball here.
It's interesting because the people who are into basketball are really into basketball, right? And you know, we have these major sports like baseball and soccer, and a lot of people, especially with the national teams and even some of these guys who end up making it to the MLB or some of the bigger soccer leagues, they look at that. But it seems like basketball is that one barrier that's really difficult. We had Ha Seung-jin for a little while, right, playing in the league. It's really difficult, and it seems like when we're talking about the local guys, to make that leap, especially if you're a wing player, right? Especially if you're a guard, do you think that's something that you feel is a possibility, making that leap to the biggest stage?
I think so. I mean, I think there's some guys that can do it, but I guess for the other sports, there's a bigger financial gain, I guess, if they play overseas or play in the MLB or in the big European leagues. Whereas I think if some of the local Korean guys went to play in, so let's say, Europe, the financial gain wouldn't be as much.
Right, because the salaries here are pretty decent, right? If you
the
play
locals
KBL.
definitely get paid a good salary. So
because I guess a few years ago, Pang Sung-yoon, he tried to make that leap, right? I think he played in the D League for a while. He was doing all right with 3-pointers, but it's just hard, right? Because I think the salaries there are like 50,000 at most a year, and then you end up coming back. You sign a big contract, and I guess it's a little. Do you think that the KBL as a league itself, and you know, there's competition with the K League or with the KBL, with the baseball organization, and there's been some ups and downs, right? I mean, there's been some scandals.
Yeah, I think that definitely hurt the league a lot. The scandals, the betting scandals with the coaches and the players,
right?
It's pretty bad.
Do you feel that at least the league is? I mean, I'm not sure how close you are with the top league officials, but are they? Do you think they're kind of cleaning things up and they're pushing the league back to where it should be?
I think so. They're definitely cleaning up the betting scandal because they felt that was a big blackout in the league. And because I remember the biggest thing they were saying when I was with the national team was if we win the gold medal, it'll bring a lot more fans to the game. But then after we won, they had another betting scandal, so it was pretty disappointing. But I think all the officials are really cleaning that up.
So, once that cleans up, you get the sport more popular here. You get more of the fan base besides the hardcore fans. And as you say, like winning the gold medal, that kind of achievement really kind of brings it to a wider stage. The KBL League itself, and you've played in France. I know you were Euro All-Star as well, right? How does it compare competitively overall?
Competitively, I think it's comparable to, let's say, the French league maybe, and
really,
not the top leagues in Europe, but like maybe some of the second division leagues. And but as far as how the organization is run, it's top notch. I mean, it's a lot better than a lot of the European leagues as far as
professionalism.
Professionalism. How the games are all on TV. Just as far as like the training staff and how if you get injured or small injuries, they can take care of you. So those little things, they're top notch. But I guess it's just
more depth of talent. Then, is going to be the big issue here. When we talk about this Lifetime Achievement Award, and this is kind of more of a cultural thing, I guess, because you don't see in the NBA like Vince Carter, right? Getting you got the old man award now for playing for so long. Does it mean anything to you as far as being an older guy and still being active and still being productive? Yeah,
I definitely take pride in that. I mean, a lot of the guys that I played with coming out of college are, retired and onto their next career or sitting at home. So I take pride in I felt that I worked hard on my body and was able to stay fit and luckily haven't been able to or haven't been had a major injury. So it's part luck and also part working hard and taking care of my body.
Yeah, I mean, what is, because we talk about these athletes, let's say the NBA or in Europe or even here in Korea, and it's such an explosive sport, it's such a fast sport, and you see these injuries now happening all the time, whether it's with your knees, your ankles, what have you. I mean, it's amazing because we're basically the same age. And I can't even run up and down the court without fainting. So what do you think? I mean, you say genetics, you say it's training, but I mean, not everyone can do it. I mean, do you think you do something different that other older guys don't?
I know towards the end of my career in Europe, I was lucky to get in touch with some good trainers. And they told me the main thing to focus on was my knees and my back. So they gave me a lot of exercises. It's sort of strengthening, but also making my knees and back resistant to, I guess, small types of injuries.
Right.
So usually that's what happens. You get a small injury and then you start favoring it and then it leads to something bigger.
Right.
So usually they just gave me a lot of exercises to keep from getting the small injuries.
And so that's sort of the misunderstanding because a lot of people feel, you got to just lift weights, like do heavy squats and bench presses. But it's really kind of the core or like the joint stuff that really is kind of the key there. Yeah. See, I think LeBron's on these like kind of weird foamy things now.
Yeah, they got a lot of new things now.
He's
you
like
can
starting
do
all these trends. And so the technology has advanced.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You are, as the elder statesman, I guess the big hyung, the big 선배 in the league. You're looking back now. How many more years do you think you're going to go?
Well, like you said, we're the same age, so I'm starting to feel a little bit, I guess, more soreness after games and things like that. So This year is definitely looking like it might be my last one. Yeah.
If this is the last year, what is the future then, as far as you in the sport, or you in Korea, or wherever?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be in the sport. What I'm hoping to do is be able to have some camps here in Korea and also in the States, in North Carolina, where we have a house also. So, my wife is already doing some basketball camps here with international schools. Wow. So hopefully that'll be something we can do both here and in the States.
So really more with the youth, like kind of the grassroots level.
Because my son is 12 now and he's getting into basketball, so it's sort of teaching him and teaching other kids. So.
Because people always kind of criticize how in America it's kind of been AAU-ified, right?
Yeah,
like everything's changed to this AAU system where, some people might think it's corrupt, but that might be something that actually could work here in Korea, right?
Exactly,
like where you have this sort of kind of amateur youth kind of competition where you have, and it's flashy and you get sponsors.
Yeah, I think that's another problem with the KBL too. The players are sort of real structured. They don't really have too many creative things where they go out of the system. And I think if we did like more of a youth league where they were able to do things more on their own and not just set structures, that it would help develop those types of skills.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fascinating if that could actually help develop the league in the long term, because that's really like a kind of 10-year, 20-year project. The final question kind of just want to touch upon is, I know it's a little different here in Korea, and as you say, the aspects of discrimination are very different from when you grow up in North Carolina. But when you see American society, and especially when you see these athletes that are now being more, I think, courageous in terms of getting their voices heard, whether it's the NFL players, starting with Kaepernick and the kneeling, and the NBA players using social media to kind of get their thoughts heard on how the current administration is treating things, how police are treating people of color. Do you think that kind of message or kind of movement towards athletes being more socially conscious and outspoken could transfer here in Korea too in the long term, or is it just kind of a cultural thing that's maybe a little bit more, got to give it time?
Yeah, I think it's probably more cultural here. I mean, I think in the States it's a little bit different because it's
so diverse.
Yeah, it's a country of immigrants basically, so everybody comes from different backgrounds, where here in Korea, pretty much everybody is Korean.
Right.
There's not too many immigrants here. So I think it's a special situation in the States where I guess there's more different people living with each other. I think in Korea, as immigration grows, it'll probably be more of a different situation for people.
Yeah, actually, that's an excellent point, because it might not be diverse right now, but as you say, because of the multiculturalism and the fact that we need more immigrants here in the country, that these are issues that, if I guess looking at the U.S., you kind of fast forward 20 years from now and think, so. Okay, these are some of the things that we're going to have to wrestle with here in Korea as well. We're going to have to leave it there, but Tae-jong, I know you're busy. You got to practice probably. You got to keep playing. We thank you for the time, and hopefully, if this is indeed your last year, we can have you back again.
Thanks. That would be nice. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.